Imagine this. Two of the absolute best athletes in American history didn't even know each other existed until just 4 weeks ago. One shreds mountains at 90 miles per hour. The other defies gravity on a sheet of ice. Different sports, different worlds, polar opposites. But then, something changed. When it happened, the internet absolutely lost it. Mikaela Shiffrin, 8-time world champion and the greatest alpine skier of our time. A woman who has quite literally rewritten the history books of her sport. Not once, not twice, but so many times that people just stopped counting. Then there is Ilia Malinin, 3-time world champion, and the only human on this entire planet to ever land a fully rotated quadruple axel in international competition. A move so difficult, so insane, that most skaters would never even attempt it in practice. These two aren't just athletes, they are legends, living, breathing, competing legends. And at the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics in February, both of them took gold. Shiffrin women's slalom, her third Olympic title. A moment so powerful that even her rivals were crying on the slopes. Malinin figure skating team title. A performance so breathtaking that the crowd sat silent for 3 full seconds before erupting. Two Americans, 2 gold medals, 2 historic victories in the exact same Olympics. But here is the crazy part. They still hadn't met. Think about that. Same country, same Olympics, same historic achievement, all in the same week. Somehow, their paths never crossed. Until now. On Tuesday, April 14th, Mikaela Shiffrin's Instagram account posted a single photo, a simple selfie. 2 people smiling, 1 short caption. When you finally meet at a partner event and walk away besties, that was it. No long explanation, no announcement, just those 7 words. The internet completely melted down because nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this friendship coming. And trust me, when you hear what actually happened at that event and what these two have been saying about each other behind the scenes, you'll want to stick around. So let's rewind. Milano Cortina 2026, February. The whole world is watching. Shiffrin steps into the start gate for the slalom. The pressure on her shoulders is absolutely unimaginable. This is her moment, her 3rd Olympic gold. And she knows it. The mountain knows it. The crowd knows it. She pushes out of the gate and she's flawless. Every gate, every turn, every millisecond just perfect. When she crosses that finish line and sees her time, she drops right to her knees. Because 8 world championships and a lifetime of hard work came down to this one run, and she nailed it. Meanwhile, across the venue, Ilia Malinin is preparing for something the figure skating world has never seen on an Olympic stage. The quad axel. 4.5 rotations in the air, landing on 1 blade at full speed. Most coaches tell their skaters, do not even think about it. Malinin does it anyway. And when he lands it clean, the entire arena goes absolutely silent. Then, an explosion. The entire USA figure skating team title is theirs. But here is what nobody ever talks about. What happens after the Olympics? The medals are won, ceremonies are finished, and the cameras move on. But these athletes enter a completely different world. Brand deals, sponsor, showcases, a total whirlwind of handshakes, schedules, and different cities. It was at one of these partner events, just weeks after Milano Cortina, that Mikaela Shiffrin and Ilia Malinin finally ended up in the same room. No cameras chasing them. No competition pressure, no coaches in their ears, just 2 people who changed their sports forever, finally getting to just be human together. So, what happened in that room? Shiffrin told us herself through that Instagram caption. They walked away as besties. Not colleagues or acquaintances, and not just 2 athletes exchanging small talk. They were besties. Because when you are at that level, when you've sacrificed everything, felt the weight of a nation on your back, and stood on that podium hearing your anthem, very few people understand that feeling. Ilia Malinin understands. Mikaela Shiffrin understands. And sometimes, that is all it really takes. But let's talk about why this new friendship actually makes so much sense. When you look at the journey of both these people, really look at it, you realize Mikaela Shiffrin and Ilia Malinin aren't just similar because they both won gold. They are similar because of exactly what it cost them to get there. Mikaela Shiffrin didn't just wake up one morning and become the greatest alpine skier of the modern era. She started racing as a child. She traded parties and normal teen years for one singular, cold obsession conquering the mountain. Even after becoming a world champion, she never stopped pushing. While other athletes coasted on their names, Shiffrin chose the grind. 8 world titles, endless wins, and records experts swore were untouchable. She didn't just break them, she shattered them. But medals weren't everything. In 2020, her father died. It was sudden, devastating, and world-shattering. The whole world watched as one of the greatest athletes alive struggled to find her footing again. Not for a trophy or a title, but just to find a reason to breathe. She came back slowly, painfully, and honestly. Standing on that Milano Cortina podium, her gold represented more than just a win for alpine skiing. It was a victory for every single person who has had to find a reason to keep going when life takes everything. That is the heart of Mikaela Shiffrin. Now look at Ilia Malinin. He is only 20 years old, but he is already performing incredible feats on the ice that no other human being has ever accomplished before him. The quad axel. It is a jump so technically demanding that the figure skating community spent years debating whether it was even physically possible for a human body to land it. Malinin didn't just try it, he mastered it. But there is a secret about him people often overlook. Behind that effortless gliding grace on the ice, behind that calm, casual confidence, is a man who has been training since he could barely walk. Raised by professional figure skating parents, he grew up living and breathing the sport until it shaped his entire soul every single day. He did not just inherit that talent, he forged it. Every morning on the freezing ice, while the rest of the world was fast asleep. At 20 years old, he stood in Milano Cortina and gave the performance of a lifetime. When these two legends finally met at that event, what do you think they actually discussed? Not their sponsors, their schedules, or their follower counts. They talked sacrifice and the daily grind. They spoke of the loneliness at the top, standing at the start gate or the rink's edge with the entire world watching your every single move. They discussed silencing the doubt and every inner voice that screams, "You simply cannot do this." That raw, unfiltered connection between two people who truly understand the pressure that is what made them best friends. No PR stunts or brand deals involved. Just two extraordinary human beings finally finding a peer who truly knows the weight they carry. Honestly, in a world that is obsessed with rivalries and competition, this genuine friendship is a rare, beautiful reminder of why we all fell in love with these high-stakes sports in the first place. It is not about the records or the fame, but the human souls behind the athletes. Mikaela Shiffrin and Ilia Malinin, the mountain and the ice. Besties. If that does not make you smile, nothing will. 2 gold medals, 2 legends, and 1 friendship that absolutely nobody saw coming. Looking at their journeys and what they represent, maybe this bond was always meant to be. The mountain and the ice finally met, and the internet will never be the same.